Welcome back. And here we are with the part 2. I want to finish my schoolwork early so I can watch the tournament. It seems that most of the student groups are writing about Professor Flitwick. I was thinking the same too. I wonder if Professor Flitwick does a victory dance after winning a duel. Well, actually he likes thumbs up like in the air or something, yeah, like that. Without making a sound. Course breaker. You made it just in time. I did. Tulip and I were just talking about the group assignment Professor Flitwick is having us do. Right, to attend the tournament, we have to write a report on a famous duelist. We already have a famous duelist in mind. Professor Flitwick. Well, I was thinking the same, but of course, who else? We have pulled up all the records we could find about his dueling history. Soon after graduating, young Phileas Flitwick won enough dueling in a tournament to fill a shelf of trophies. He must have already been pretty skilled to win those tournaments so quickly. I wonder where he got all the practice. What set him on the path to competing in tournaments? That's just what we should find out. Young Flitwick's road from student to dueling champion would be a great angle for our report. Well, you are right, Andre. Unfortunately, records on that sort of thing are rather hard to come by. It has been a long time since Professor Flitwick was a student. I suppose it's to be expected. Perhaps we would be better off asking someone who knew him back then. Maybe we should interview all the professors. Professor Flitwick talks about his past very rarely, though he is fairly a private person. We don't want to embarrass him, so we would best be discreet with our investigation. Good point. I hope we are not crossing a line by looking into Professor Flitwick's personal life. I don't think so. We are just trying to find the truth. Researching a subject in order to fully understand it is exactly what being a Revenclaw is all about. Maybe you're right. Yes, and we will be respectful of Professor Flitwick's privacy in our report. Alright, in that case, we just need to determine who to ask about his time here as a student. It needs to be someone who has been here a very long time but can also keep a secret. Who do you think is the most appropriate to ask about Professor Flitwick's life as a student? Well, Hagrid is not secretive. I think maybe a grey lady, since I think she is in Ravenclaw, right? She has been in Hogwarts for a long time, and as the Ravenclaw house ghost, she might have known Professor Flitwick as a student. What a way, that's perfect. We wouldn't need to worry about her embarrassing Professor Flitwick either. The grey lady is famously discreet. In fact, she barely speaks at all. Well, I hope she helps us with that. That could be an issue since I'm not a Ravenclaw. I wonder I can convince her or something. I'm sure we can at least convince her that you are a friend to Ravenclaw. If you can prove that you understand what it is to be a Ravenclaw, she might agree to answer your question. Then there is nothing for it. We will just have to brush up on our Ravenclaw knowledge. Facts, history, lore, we will study whatever we think will help us win over Grey Lady. Good thing we are already in the library. Let's get started. I don't like studying that much, but oh well. That's enough studying for now. We have reviewed all the Ravenclaw facts that we could find. I even wrote up my section of our group assignment on Professor Flitwick. Great. Tulip and I will handle the rest when our research is complete. Speaking of which, I hope we have reviewed enough Revenclaw facts to win our Grey Lady. Perhaps a test is in order. Answer me this, Autumn. Rowan Revenclaw, our house founder, owned a magical relic that was lost centuries ago. What was it? The diadem. It sounds like you are talking about the lost diadem. That's right, well done, Autumn. You were paying attention. If the Grey Lady asks us about relics like the lost diadem of Revenclaw, we will be ready. There is not much time to talk to the Grey Lady before the tournament begins. We should see how Professor Flitwick's dueling training is going to. Let's split up for now. Tulip and I will go search for Grey Lady and try talk to her. Andre, you go check on Professor Flitwick. I will meet up with you later. It's a plan. Come on, Otterway. Let's go find Grey Lady. Oh, there she is. Thanks for coming so quickly, Autumn. Well done finding the Grey Lady, Tulip. It wasn't much. I just looked for the most quiet, out of the way place I could find, and she was right there. Is she reading something? What do you suppose she is reading? We won't be able to find out from here. Let's go ask. Hello, Grey Lady. Hello, Miss Lady. Do you mind if we ask what we are reading? It's just an old poetry book a student left behind. I see. Are you enjoying it? I was at first, but reading the same page over and over gets rather dull. Is that so? What if one of us turned the pages for you? That way you could read the rest of the book. You would do that for me? Of course, anything for the Revenclaw house cost. Well, if you insist on helping, I won't stop you. Great. There you go. She looks happy. The two of us were wondering, would it be alright if we asked you a few questions about Professor Flitwick? We want to learn more about what he was like as a student, especially any duels he might have gotten into, assuming you even knew him back then, of course. Oh, I don't usually speak of such things, and even then, only to members of my own house. I may not be a Revenclaw, but I have been learning more about the house and its traditions. Autumn is basically a Revenclaw expert at this point. Well, I won't call myself an expert, well, okay. And she never even had an existential crisis like I did. Do you live? I'm nervous and I just keep talking. Rest assured, I'm proud to be my own kind of Revenclaw. In that case, you should know what's inside the Revenclaw house points hourglass. The Revenclaw house points hourglass is a blue sapphire. That's right, they are so beautiful the way they shine. I like sapphire. I suppose you know a bit about Revenclaw after all. Anyone can memorize facts, but do you really understand what it really means to be a Revenclaw? Like this old poetry book. Why do you think I am interested in reading this? Is it because you love poetry? I think it's the second one, but oh well. I think I know the answer. It is because you haven't read this particular book yet. Yes, that's it. What drives a Revenclaw is the desire to learn. All it took for me to start reading this book was the fact that I hadn't read it yet. At least one of you understands what it means to be a true Revenclaw. It would mean a lot to us and everyone in Revenclaw if you could help us. Learning about Professor Flitwick's past will help us understand him better. And the better we understand him, the more help we will be to him. Professor Flitwick is very dedicated to Revenclaw. I would also like to help him if possible. I am still not sure about you. You didn't answer both of my questions correctly. But your friend has earned my trust. Hooray! I will tell you what I can remember about Flitwick as a student at Hogwarts. Or I suppose he was simply Phileas Flitwick back then. Really? I had no idea Professor Flitwick had to go through so much at Hogwarts. Some students were terrible to young Phileas just because he was different. But it never dampened his spirit, and he bravely defended himself whenever he was attacked. Could that have been how he got so good at dueling, defending himself against horrible people? It might also explain why he is so wary of duels between students. Aside from his detractors, Phileas was quite popular among the students and very dedicated to his studies. Thank you so much for sharing all this with us. If it helps Revenclaw, I will do what I can. That's great. We have got more than enough information to finish our group assignment, Autumn. You should go check on Andre and Professor Flitwick, find out how dueling training is going. Okay, Are you coming? Not yet. I'm going to stay and help Grey Lady finish a book. Well, that's so sweet of you, but you should get going. Professor needs you. Okay. Trying to help Professor Flitwick train has taught me a lesson in humility. He's on a whole another level. Really. I thought dueling practice with Professor Flitwick would be fun, but I'm really exhausted. Professor Flitwick is more skilled at dueling than I ever imagined. Don't you know he's a champion duelist? Autumn, you got here just in time. Hi Andre, how is dueling practice going? It's going well, perhaps too well. What does that mean? Professor Flitwick is making great progress in getting back into form for the tournament. But he's so skilled, none of us can last very long against him even to train. What about practice dummies? We tried that, but Professor Flitwick is so powerful, his spells destroyed them. Then he said something about needing a life opponent for proper practice. I see, I might have assumed a professor would go easy when training with students. That's just it, Professor Flitwick has been going easy on us, he's just that skilled. Are we ready to get back to it? I would like to try a few more moves. Well, I would like to be his opponent next. What he needs is a worthy opponent. You want me to be his partner? Of course. Who's better than Hogwarts #1? Curse Breaker. How do you feel about going a few rounds? Well, of course. I feel very confident, in fact. I have been in a few duels and faced many dangers since coming to Hogwarts. Although I may not be as skilled as him, but dueling won't be a problem, right? I love your confidence, Autumn. Hang on to that. Now we just need to see if your skills match up to your bold words. We will see about that. Ah, Miss Ray, I assume you are to be my next dueling partner. Yes, Professor. Before we begin, let me remind you that duels outside the proper venues are strictly prohibited. I know, Professor, unless you are defending yourself. Precisely. I see you remember our conversation on the subject. Our practice today is in a controlled environment under the supervision of a professor, myself. I understand, Professor. Very good. Let's get to it. I hope you find me a worthy opponent. Well, I hope you find me a worthy opponent. Oh my god, that was so hard on me. What a treat it is to duel again. I think I may finally be back in top form. Rumors of your dueling skills don't even do you justice, Professor. Do you feel like you are ready for the tournament? As ready as I will ever be. I'm quite excited. That's good. I can't thank you all enough for encouraging me to participate in this tournament. But I advise you to keep your expectations grounded. The competition I will be facing is no joke. I have even learned that the current champion is none other than Evelyn Starlin. Evelyn Starlin, the world-famous duelist. The same. She was in your house, Miss Ray, a Slytherin just like you. In fact, Miss Starlin even wrote a book of dueling tips for the benefit of her house. I believe it was stashed away in the artifact room for future generations to discover. That sounds a lot like the dueling book my prefect told me about in my first year at Hogwarts. I needed it to prepare for my duel against Merula. So much has happened since then. Wait, that book was supposed to be a secret. We Hogwarts professors often know more than we let on, Miss Ray. It is fortunate that your conflict with Miss Snyder didn't lead to any exposure. Yes, it certainly was. I'll never forget the advice my prefect gave me way back then. To duel properly, you need 3 things: an offensive move, a defensive ability, and creative advantage. That is helpful guidance even today, Miss Ray. Perhaps I ought to consider it myself. Which of these do you think would be the most helpful to me? I think an offensive move would be the most helpful. They say the best defense is a good offense. Well, I will consider my offensive tactics, and I believe I have just the thing in mind. I have good news as well. I have heard from the organizers of the tournament. The dates and time of my match have been set. I am now an official competitor. That's great, Professor. Clap, clap, clap. For you. Hurrah! Best get your group assignments finished soon if you wish to attend. For those of you who have, I will see you at the Tooth Hill Dwelling Club Invitational Tournament. Yes!
Thanks for watching. See you next time.